Our reporter Grace Lee joins me now with more details. Grace, they may not be related, but this spike in infections does seem to come after Japan announced the postponement of the Olympic Games. And now it seems the government has redirected most of its attention and efforts to responding to COVID-19, the pandemic. How serious is the situation there in Japan?
Yes, that's certainly, it certainly has a lot of people raising their eyebrows, seeing how Japan's governor, or Tokyo's governor, right after the Olympics were pushed back, announced that Tokyo was at a critical stage now. Like you mentioned, residents here have been asked to stay indoors. That's what I'm doing as well. I'm at my balcony. People have been panic buying a little bit. Last night, grocery stores across Japan were just cleaned out, and people are worried now that Japan might see a huge spike in numbers because of the low test numbers that has been brought up time and time again. Japan's record for testing numbers has been very, very low compared to other places in the region like South Korea or China. So there's that big question of, well, once they start testing, are we going to see a huge spike? Nonetheless, Tokyo's governor has already said that hospitals here are at their max capacity for ICUs and pneumonia treatment. And of course, that's the key treatment for coronavirus. So there's worry that if there is a spike, there might not be capacity here to treat those who are infected. Now, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe spoke out about the subject just earlier today, cautioning people that this is a critical time for Japan.
Unlike what is happening in the West, at this point of time, we are holding up at the very edge of an explosion of coronavirus. Therefore, it would not be a surprise for us to see a surge in infections if we let our guard down for even just a little bit. Of course, we should prevent overreaction, but preventing overreaction also means being alert. We have to be aware that the battle against coronavirus will be a long-term one. Again, I would like to ask our general public for continuous support to prevent the further spread of the virus.
Yeah, like many guessed, he did not announce a state of emergency quite yet, and he says he's waiting to see any developments further on the coronavirus cases before doing that. But there is worry that perhaps at that point it might be too late.
Grace, this time of year, Japan's streets are full of people enjoying the cherry blossoms. But now they've been asked to stay indoors. As we've seen in some other countries, not everyone is abiding by these rules of lockdown or regional isolation and quarantine. How is the Japanese public reacting?
Yeah, and among those people who didn't seem to be heeding those warnings is Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's own wife, who is now under fire after a photo circulated of what looked like Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's wife out enjoying the cherry blossoms. Now, Abe has rebutted this, saying that she was simply at a private function and they took some photos in front of the cherry blossoms, but she was with a large group of people, and that's exactly what the government is advising against at this stage, asking people to stay indoors, stay away from large groups of people, like many other places in the world. Now, the big thing to look out for, of course, is the surge of cases here in Tokyo. That's why a lot of travel here is starting to get restricted from other parts of Japan. But also, Osaka is going to be a hotspot. Japan's health ministry has warned that by April 3rd, we might see 3,000 cases in Osaka. And of course, that's another major city here in Japan. So that is making a lot of people nervous about what this might all mean for Japan's number of cases in the next couple of days.
We'll certainly keep watching. Our Grace Lee in Tokyo for us. Grace, thanks so much.